Okay.
If-
Hey guys, welcome back to the exciting episode of Yomo. This is the Year Magical Learning Podcast. So today we're on Reflection 305 and we have a very short time, so we're trying to do the
Speed
speed
y'all.
Yomo. So the book is called What If by Randall Munroe. So
Let's do
that's it.
this. This book is actually, it's a really interesting book. So it's What If Scientific Answers, Serious Scientific Answers to Absurd Hypothetical Questions by Randall Munroe. So this guy runs this like really popular blog. What's it called? This website called XKCD. So people just like come in and that can't be the right one, right? Is that what it is?
I think so.
xkcd.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, what if? Yeah, there it is. So people just ask random questions like, could I cool down Earth by capturing a comet and dropping it into the ocean like an ice cube in a glass of water? So people just come and post like crazy questions, then he like seriously answers them. He like does a lot of scientific research and like goes and investigates stuff and then gives them an actual answer. Like I mean there's this is what this book is about, right? So it's he'll keep answering people's questions. This is multiple pages of this stuff, right? So like anyway, that's what this is about, I guess. So this is a book that he compiled of the answers that he would give to people's absurd questions, right? So I'm pretty sure this came from a Ryan Holiday recommendation. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember officially, but I know this book and the next book or I know the next one is, and I'm pretty sure this one is too. So this is, from the obstacle is the way, carrying over with that, right? So my reflection for this book, this is what made me think about, is we'll never run out of things to say, literally, and I'll explain. We're at book 305 or reflection 305 in this journey, right? So I was doing some math, and I've told you about this, comparison about the marathon to Yomo, right? Like if you divided a 305 divided by 365, you got to 21 point. It would be the equivalent of being at mile marker 21.89 out of a 26.2 marathon, right? The percentage portion toward where we'd be at. So roughly around 22 mile marker, of an actual race, right? A marathon race, running race, and this was as of December 1st of 2022 that I was writing this. So, it started in September of 2021 and we were, what does that put us at, like 14 months in at that point in time, almost writing daily. Reading all kinds of books, like it was a lot, right? Like, and I was starting to feel the heat. I remember I remember telling you about this multiple times where I got to this, like around this mile marker, I guess, if you will, of this marathon, where I was struggling. Every day I felt like, I would wake up and I'd be more and more tired, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to write about today? And then I would sit out of the keyboard and I would, try to bang something out, and eventually epiphany would come on, and I'd get into the zone and I'd bang out this new reflection. I'd feel like, oh, thank God we got another day. But I was like, what am I going to write about tomorrow? And then the next day, I did this for almost like 18, 19 months straight, or something like that, almost on a daily, because I had so many books to catch up on from before. So I was able to do this every single day, Monday through Friday, for a really long period of time. And it was tiring. I mean, but I loved it, but it was tiring. Like I was hitting it's like being in an actual marathon. I've never run an actual marathon before. But I have to imagine, I've gotten up to 17 miles, and I know how I felt at 17 miles, and it felt fucking awful. Like I was just dying to get home. I was like, oh my God, where is my house? Like I was like, my legs were killing me. My head was throbbing. I was like just covered in sweat because it was a hot day outside. I was thirsty. I was just miserable by the point in time that I hit like the 17-mile marker. So we're not even talking about 17 miles. We're talking about 22 miles, So I can't even imagine. I can't even put myself physically in the space of running 22 miles. But if I did, it would probably feel similar to how I felt right here, where it's like you can't really see the finish line. You're still 4 miles away. Like while that doesn't feel like a long time, I could run 4 miles in my sleep. I run 4 miles at least almost every single day. Like 4 miles is nothing. It's a 30-minute run, maybe a little less than 30 minutes or something like that, right? Like not a big deal at all, right?
That's pretty fast.
Right, but still, when you're at 22 miles though, that is not what you're thinking. You're going, oh my God, I got 4 more miles left. Like my body hurts so bad. I cannot think of taking another fucking step, let alone, running 4 more miles. 4 miles might as well be a whole nother marathon at that point in time, right? Because it's 30 minutes. It's like, I got to run for another 30 minutes. Like I can hardly take a step, So that's kind of how I felt, as I was writing, right? And the biggest concern that I kept having was like, what am I going to keep writing about? I was like, I don't like, I mean, I'm like, how many times can you write about different variations of values and purpose and, and different ideas that come to you? And, I mean, I think I'm pretty entertaining, but at the same time, like, I only have so many stories to share. You know what I mean? Like it's not like every single day it's something magical happens in my life where I can share a new story or something like that. So I'm like, I was starting to get kind of stressed out about this, and I was thinking like, oh God, what do I do? Just take another step, take another step, take another step, right? So then I read this book, and it's out answering all these absurd ass questions, And one of the questions, like, thank God the universe delivers, right? Whenever you need it. The question that was submitted for this one was, how many unique English tweets are possible? How long would it take for the population of the world to read them all out loud, right? You got that question in your mind? How many unique English tweets would be possible? And how long would it take for the population of the world to read them all out loud, right? Anyway, so long story short, after he did a lot of complicated math and went through this like crazy calculations and, whatever else stuff that he did, the answer came out to be 10,000 eternal years. Meaning what is an eternal year? It actually, I'm not even going to like translate all this. The bottom line is you could literally talk forever and never run out of things to say. Like you could put a combination of all different kinds of words together to be able to tweet out something, to be able to read it, and you will never run out of words to say. Like, that thought just kind of hit me like a ton of bricks as I was running and reading this book. And I was like, why am I so worried about this? Just take another fucking step. Like, it's fine. Like, you can keep running all day long. I mean, hell, look at us now. I wrote 4:01 today, right? So like, it's not like I didn't have the energy. It's not like I can't go run every single day still, it's just when you're in these things where you lock your brain into a specific, goal and time frame, and you're like, you're there's no, who cares? Like, you could run 26.2 miles, do it over a week time frame, do it over a month, do it over, why does it have to be in one day and 3 hours or something like that, where you're just like, pushing your body to the limit, and thinking you can't take another step? Well, absolutely you can. You know how many more steps you're going to take in the rest of your life outside of running that marathon? You're going to take a lot of fucking steps. Like, how many times I'm going to continue to read books? I'm going to continue to read a lot of books.
Well, I want to continue as long as I can.
Exactly. Right.
I don't want it to stop, but that's the thing is, people have a different, I guess, paradigm when it comes to things. They just take paradigm that's given to them.
Yeah, I mean, right. So this gave me a different paradigm when I needed it, of reminding me, like, there's always gonna be some reflection that comes to mind. There's always gonna be some thought to write about every morning. There's always gonna be something to share with other people, as long as you keep learning and taking the right steps and walking the path you want to walk, and living for two with your daughter. It'll come. Like, and I was like, oh, all right, fair enough. All right. So it was nice. It was a nice reminder. So anyway, I'll just pause there and get your thoughts.
Yeah. So I want to kind of borrow what we talked about yesterday. Is, why do you shape the ends of the turkey before you put it in the oven? That's just because that's how we've been doing it.
It is.
And so it is what it is framework. It is what it is paradigm. Mm-hmm. That's where I say the danger was in, because when you bring in over this paradigm, who put a gun to your head and say, hey, you have to finish a marathon?
I did
in 10 minutes. Well, where did that come from?
No.
So you put a gun to your head, right? And you say, hey, fuck, I have to go through this thing. I have to do another 4 miles. That's like a whole marathon. My body is aching. My body is killing me. I'm not giving my body the I guess the rest it needs to regenerate.
Right.
Who forces you to do that?
No one. I did. Like, I mean,
exactly. So why did you do it?
No one was forcing me to do this. I was getting value out of it, but there's a certain point where you go past the balance equation, right? And like that there, like, I don't want to say it becomes an eat the frog situation, but it becomes a it becomes even you can abuse your own values, right? Like sometimes you can take your values to too big of an extreme. If you like running and for whatever reason that's an activity you enjoy, at a certain point in time that tips, right? You know, and you
it's
overdo
about
it. You know?
balance, mate.
Right.
But balance, because the thing is, when you say if I were going to run, right? The amount of energy that I need to exert to make this movement happen, I need to process something else to generate that energy for you to use. You are using more energy faster than I can generate. My body can generate for yourself. So my body is struggling to keep up.
Right.
So that's what causes your body to aches. Because for you, like, let's say, let me ask you this way. If you walk, how long can you walk?
A long fucking time. I mean,
Long
like,
fucking time, right? Because your body is able to say, okay, you need the energy. I can produce it fast enough from the proteins and the carbs and the fat that you have. I can take it and I can regenerate and I can push glucose to you, so you glucose can use can be sent to your muscle and your muscle to pump and for you to make this movement. But you move faster than it can generate, it's going to struggle. And so goes back to what we're saying is balance. Right. You have to have the right balance. So to optimally get the most of your movement, is like, how fast can you generate? I'm going to use at that pace. Right. So to me, it's all about balance, because like I say, if you walk almost forever, right? You walk forever. You can take a rest stop to do, but you walk. That's the reason why in our life we have taken like millions, even billions of steps.
For sure. I mean, like, right? whenever I've traveled,
but like, we have never felt like we're being pressured or being my body hurt or anything, because we're used to it. But you think about somebody. Let's say you take maybe you take a lion and he start walking on two legs. How far can he walk on two legs?
Probably not very far, I would assume.
Exactly. He can't walk far because that's not. So for us, you think, hey, walking for us is nothing. No, it's a lot of feet, a lot of.
Yeah, we had to redefine it. We had to reconfigure our whole entire body, like it's like everything. We had to change
so many muscle is cooperating to make you be able to walk and maintain that balance. Right. And yet here you'll be able to do it forever until you die. I mean, you have a limit, but until you die. But that means that your body is at an equilibrium, it's at a balanced system. So even in this case, you need to be going at a pace. You want to move it faster, you have to make modifications to the whole system. Right. Not just exerting. Let's say you run like 10-minute mile, right? I mean that's jogging, right? 10-minute mile, and you say, well, that's how. If I can run 10-minute mile, I can run forever, because you know my energy, my heart, and my body is able to generate enough recovery for me to exert the 10-mile jog. Let's say you want to create it. I want to do a 9-minute mile, right? So you can say I'm going to exert a 9 minute, and the rest, the heart pumping and the glucose generations and all this thing is still static, right? You cannot just move one step. You have to move the whole entire system, system. So you stretch it out a little bit. So hey, I'm going from a 10-minute mile to a 9-minute 45-second. And then at 30, and then eventually you're trying to move the whole system up, and eventually you're gonna run a 9-minute mile without even stopping. And then you keep practice, you keep training. You do 8-minute mile, do 7-minute mile, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, so even if you do a 5-minute mile, you can run. I mean, you know about the guys that that you know in the running book that these guys can run all day long, right?
Oh yeah.
And they run pretty fast, because they can probably maintain like a 5-minute or 4-minute mile, and they can run forever because they have been trained for that, right? So the thing is, because their system's in balance, and they can do that. And so when we do things, you need to get to the pace where you are now, that you can do that without stopping. That is always the aim. If you can aim that, so whatever you do, you can do that. You're not struggling. You're not creating misery for yourself, right? And to me, like I said, you're running, like you're jogging. You're gonna enjoy the jog, because hey, I'm jogging and I feel great. I can jog forever. Yes, I'm running at a 20-minute per mile, or even like a 15-minute per mile, or even 12-minute per mile, right? It's like a slight jog, like a light, blah blah blah, right? Right. But you say, hey, I can do this forever. So there is not like fuck, I'm at the marker 20 mile marker or 22 mile marker, and it's like I'm dreading this feeling, right?
Like, yeah, your body
You're
hurts.
hurting.
Like,
Your body is telling you no. So to me, that is an indicator. That's your dashboard
yeah.
indicator tells you, hey, you need to fix something. That something is not something is
You took it
off,
too far. You took it too far.
right?
You push yourself. Like your body, like talk about like signal and noise, right? Like those are signals. Like when your hip hurts, and when you run every day, and all of a sudden like your hip hurts, your lower back hurts, your head is throbbing, you're like, and you're like fucking, your body's like, stop, man, stop, just fucking stop moving for a little bit, just
Yeah,
go sit
because
down.
this is what I do. Said I I do weights, right? So for
Right.
me, it's like when I was younger, I can push myself, push, right? But now that I'm older, when my body say no, I stop. I know
I'm so glad you
I've learned my lesson, because when
Right.
my body says no and I continue to do it, it say, hey, you're gonna pay for it, and you're gonna
Yep.
pull a muscle, and I'll be out for like 6 fucking months. And I think I got a shoulder, frozen shoulder for like 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
3 or 4 years, because
Doing dumb shit, like, I mean, yeah.
the thing is, your body say, hey, okay, it's feeling like you're not supposed to do this, and your body tell you, hey,
Right.
like it's blinking at you. It's like, I stop. For me right now, when I do some kind of exercise, and if I can't do it, I stop, because I know my body is telling me the next thing's gonna come. It's
Yep.
something that you don't want, and you're gonna be out of commission for a long, long time, and you're gonna hate that miserable existence between now and then, until the
Yep.
recovery. And if you recover, right? Like I say, 3 to 5 years is a long time to live with a frozen shoulder.
Yeah, I don't like, I remember this time during this journey, right? And like the good thing is I was kind of going at a sustainable pace. It was tiring, but like it was a good tiring. Like I wasn't writing for like 4 hours a day. I was writing for like 45 minutes a day, and it was, and I was able to maintain that. Like it was just, I think this was a psychological thing about 365, and I was like, fuck, like it was like looking up at the mountaintop, and you're like, God, I still got 60 more of these to do, when I'm at 305, and I'm like, I feel like I was, like I don't know why I even cared.
It's
Like,
a wrong perspective.
it was a perspective issue. I wasn't hurting. Like I wasn't like tired. I didn't not like what I was doing. Like it wasn't like it was like I was running like a mile a day instead of 26.2 miles in one day and not stopping, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably a sustainable pace. I mean, it is a sustainable pace. I was able to do it, and do it for, almost, I guess, going on almost September of 2023 now. So it's been 2 years, right? Like, I mean, like it's been 2 full fucking years that I've been, writing every single day about, Yomo stuff, right? And we're at 401, and like, I mean, that's for me, like, honestly, like it's kind of fucking remarkable. Like I didn't stop when we hit 365. I didn't cross the marathon and go.
It seems remarkable to the outsider, but for
Right.
us, it's not.
No, it's not. Like, I mean, it's actually the day after that I finished 365, I went, well, what do I do now? And then I woke up the next morning. I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep writing. I don't know. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what do I want to write
It's
about?
like you finish the marathon, say, okay, I went to finish time. Okay,
Well,
I'll continue.
let's keep
So
running.
that's
I
the
mean,
thing is when you put yourself in the right perspective, like, okay, I enjoy the run.
Right.
It's not getting to the finish line. That's not my
It wasn't
goal.
about a marathon. Yeah, it wasn't about the marathon. It was about
So we are conditioned to look for some kind of an artificial and arbitrary markers
right.
of goals of some sort. And to me, that was the incorrect. I mean, the path you take are the same, but it's what you focus on as your goal. It
Right.
makes a whole different. Just like we're talking about the stretch zone versus the panic zone, right?
Right.
It's both the same, but it depends on your perspective. Is, are you wanting to do this or you don't want to do this? And the same thing
Exactly.
with what we're talking about for the obstacles away. Well, the obstacle is in the way, but the thing is, you're focusing on the obstacle itself versus focusing on what you want. Obstacle is going to be in you, but because you're not focusing on it, it becomes this opaque thing. Say, hey, something's in the way. You don't pay attention. You see them on your peripheral vision, but you don't really pay attention because you're focusing on the thing you want. So to me, putting yourself in the right perspective make or break
Right.
the experience of what you want to have, because that brings you either joy or misery. Because sometimes I mean, to me, it's like the difference between work and play. It's not the effort. You put you put some effort in. Hey, I have to exert energy to perform certain actions
Right.
for work, and you try to put more energy into play than work, and yet you enjoy the play versus the work.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
the difference? It's just perspective.
It's just
Something I want to
perspective,
do,
yeah.
something I don't want to do.
Right. I mean, like pickleball is a good example, or tennis, right? Like there's certain times when I can go play. I know that I could play if I wanted to. Like I could play for 8 hours, 10 hours. You probably could never make me stop if I could, you know. But like I also know that I hit a certain breaking point almost every single
Because
time
your
that I'm
body
right.
can't keep producing the energy, and your bones and your muscle needs to have some kind of
Exactly.
a resting space, pace
You
to
know what it
continue.
does. What happens when I do this, like when I go past that point,
You start breaking things you shouldn't break.
it does. But what happens the next day? Like, you know, in my head I'm going, I want to play pickleball again, but then my
But my
body's
day
going,
won't let me.
my body's going, you're not fucking playing pickleball today. And like no joke. I mean, this happened on last week. I had that like really light week because my team was all at Dreamforce and everything, and they were I mean, how do you, if you don't have anybody to manage and no meetings to go to, because everybody, pretty much almost everybody else in my company was at Dreamforce, right? You know, except for me, because I don't know, I just didn't want to go, I guess. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I had a whole lot of free time in the middle of the day. So one of those days I texted a buddy and we went to go play pickleball for like 3.5 hours or something like that. We played this guy's a tennis player, and he goes, he was like, "Do you want to play like, you know, like a full set of tennis, like, you know, as pickleball games and singles?" And I was like, "Sure." Like meaning he wanted to play to the best of first to six, win by two, right? You know, and like most pickleball matches are like at a robust one is like first, you know, best of 5 games, you know, not like first to 6, win by 2. It's first to 3, win by, you know, 1, you know what I mean, or something like that. And so he was like, basically he asked me like, do you want to run like a half marathon of pickleball? And I was like, yeah, let's do it, you know, like so both of us, like, I beat him 7-5 because he's a good player. So we played 12 games of pickleball, or no, 13. Is that 13? 12. We played 12 games of pickleball, and like no joke, like I hurt my toe really bad, because you do a lot of starting and stopping in singles pickleball, like a lot more than like you would do in doubles. So it's actually kind of hard on your body to play singles pickleball, because it's very start stopping. It's a very like racquetball-y almost, you know. So like all the jamming on the brakes of my toe, my big toe kept slamming into my you know, shoe, and like I didn't even notice it until like the next day. I literally could hardly get out of my bed and walk on my toe. I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is my toe all fucked up? And then my other toe got hurt, and then my back started to hurt, and then I had to go play tennis the next day because I had a match that was already scheduled for one of my teams I was on. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta play tennis today. I was like, I hardly fucking walk. My shoulder now hurts. Like my back hurt. Anyway, point being is I had to drag my ass out to go do stuff that I love to do, you know, and I know that I'm still hurting from that today, right now. And that was over, you know, 4 or 5 days ago, you know, at this point in time. And I'm still going, fuck, that was pretty dumb. Like that was not a smart decision, you know, like I should have stopped after like 5 games, you know. I would have been perfect with like 5 games, and we could have gone home, had a nice sweat, felt good, you know, everybody's good, you know, like, and no, we decided we wanted to run a half fucking marathon, you know. And it's like you just can't do that. You got to have balance. Like, I mean, this is like an important thing for sustainability, because there's always going to be words to write. There's always going to be games to play. There's always going to be, you know,
that's the key. There's always the world will always turn. So there's going to be always new games to play. There's always new opportunity to catch. So don't worry about it. But you know, if you are out in the sideline, you're not in the game. You can't play.
In the game, right? Yeah,
you can't play. And so that's what I'm saying is, you know, when my body say, hey, don't lift that no more, right? I just stop, say, hey, I'm done for today. Regardless how I feel, I'm done for today. Because I knew from experience that, hey, if I were to be greedy and put in one more reps, I probably could be out of the game for 6 months or 6 years.
Right.
I mean, literally, depending on
Yep.
how old you are,
Right.
you could be out of commission for 6 years.
Yeah, you can really fuck yourself up pretty bad. Yeah, I mean that's
I mean, I had to go to
awful.
therapy for it, and I have to keep asking you. Remember, I asked you about the CBD
Right. Yeah.
bomb or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, I was hurting like hell, and I was just suffering.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not fun when you fuck yourself up. So the key is balance and sustainability. Do it every day. Like don't do like it all in one day. Do it every day and do a little. Sorry, got the hiccups. Do it every day. Don't do it all in one day. Do it do a little every day. But do just enough. Right.
Do it sustainably. Okay.
Right.
Define what that means to you.
Right.
Do that sustainably. Meaning, if you do this at a good pace, can you do this forever?
Right.
If you can live forever, can you do it forever? I mean, if I were to jog like, hey, 15 miles, 15 minutes a mile, can I do that forever? If I, can eat and don't need to sleep, can I continue to do it? And how does my body feel? Try that. And then later on, improve on it. Let's say, okay, you want to do 14. Move on to 14, see if you can do it. Because your body will adapt, but you can't push it right now. I think, you basically give it too much speed, and something is gonna be out of sync with the whole system.
For sure. I mean, almost every single vacation I've ever been on, like I would do a ton of walking with my wife and I, like just exploring cities and wherever we go or whatever we're doing, right? Like on average, on any given day, wherever we've gone, and at least for the past decade. We probably walk 10 to 15 miles a day, almost every single day. If you had me run that every single day, like, at the pace that I normally run, like I'd be down for the count. I don't even think about it. Like when we're walking, I remember one time I was in San Francisco on a business trip, and I had the whole day to myself because I had to stay for the weekend actually, and I didn't have another meeting until Monday. So I had a meeting on Friday and a meeting on Monday, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just stay for the weekend just because I don't want to like fly back home and fly back out again. So I had like the whole weekend to myself to just go do touristy shit. I didn't even think about it. I started exploring the city. By the end of the day, I think I had gone like 17 miles or something like that. And I played pickleball for 2 hours in the middle of the day. I happened to stumble upon a Facebook group where there was found a pickleball match going on in the Presidio, the park right next to like the Golden Gate Bridge. And I was like, well, I'll just go walk there. And my hotel or my Airbnb or wherever I was staying was like 3 miles from there. I was like, oh, I'll just go walk there, like I'll play some pickleball and find something to eat. I mean, I was gone all day long. I started at like 8 a.m. and I didn't get home until like 9 o'clock at night or something like that. And I played 2 hours of pickleball in the middle of it, and walked like 17 miles or something like that. Like I wasn't tired. Like I was just like, whatever. It's like that was a fun day. I stopped and ate multiple places. I went to the museum.
Right, and the experiences you have is of the thing that you see, you being present versus, hey, I'm suffering here, right? Whatever when you say, well, I'm focusing internally because my body is crying out for help. I'm not experiencing the presence in the surrounding, the beautiful things that I'm supposed to be here to see. I don't feel those things. I'm looking inwards to the issue. Like my body is basically smoking like a car, smoking from its radiator.
That's exactly what's going on. Do you remember the book about the ultra marathoner really, really early on that we read? It was called by Adheritan Finn. Do you remember what I'm talking about? It's like one of the earliest books we did.
I remember that book, but I don't remember what you're talking about.
The reflection title on that one was the Pain Cave, right? Like
right.
Yeah, that's what they would go into the pain cave, for the ultra marathoners, right? And like they do it on purpose because they crave the pain. Like, I mean, that's what they want. Like that's why they go into it. What was that book called? The Rise of the Ultra Runners. That's what it's called. And the like, what the fuck is wrong with those people? Like, I mean, like they literally try to hurt themselves so bad that they have to like go into like extra. I mean, I get it. There's probably some benefit to it, like in a weird way. I'm glad they want to go that extreme because I can learn from it. But like, to your point, it's like, if you find yourself going to the pain cave, just take another step.
But I still don't understand. I still don't get it. I mean, what's to get?
What's the point of it? It's to hurt
Yeah.
yourself. It's to hurt yourself.
But you said you get it. What are you getting?
I think knowing that you can hurt yourself and survive, like
Is that something you want to know?
I don't know. I mean, like they do. I mean, like I don't want to know it.
So
Like,
let me see. If I shoot a bullet to my head and I maybe slightly to the left or to the right of here, can I survive? Can I do that?
I mean, see, if you wanted to be sadistic to
Like this,
yourself,
I
mean,
go
what why do people?
not in this, you know, the mid of my brain, but maybe slightly to the side. Just
Well, but true. Why do people go to the death zone in Everest? You know, like
hence the question is, what's the benefit? I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're idiots. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than we're dumb. You know.
I mean, let's pierce a chapstick to my eye and see if I die.
I can't tell you what the benefit of that would be. I know that, like, I know from my personal learning experience of like ultra marathoners and a couple other books that I've read of them, and then obviously like books about people that have climbed Everest. A lot of times they're in pain. They're in a lot of pain, and that's what brought them to these activities. And they're trying to find some. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to find.
But that's what I'm saying. To me, there is multiple ways to handle pain. But for me, pain is indicator. It's indicating something is wrong with the system that you have. Because to me, life is meant to be enjoyed. I mean, it's like you put on earth, right? You have a calling. When you are doing something that it is your calling, whether it's to play tennis, to go fishing, or to go make candles, to make soap, or whatever, that is your calling. You will do that like forever, and you will do that every single chance you have.
Right.
And that makes you feel good, right? That's just life. But when you have pain, it's an indicator. It's telling you, just like a car. There's a dashboard indicator. It's just blinking, right? It says, hey, something's wrong. It's a warning. You have to fix it. So there's two ways to fix it. One way to fix it is to rip out the indicator and just throw it away. It doesn't blink anymore.
Right.
Right. That's one way. This is what most of us do. Instead of go to the hood, I would take it to the mechanic or whatever, fixing it. Like, hey, your radiator has a tiny leaks or whatever. You didn't fix it. You didn't replace the indicator line, the radiator line, or whatever. You go and you rip off the indicator, right? This is what we do. And the other one is to put other indicators that is bigger than it. So to me, the third option is when people have pain and they go to other pains to mask the fucking pain that they had in the first place.
Sure. Yep.
Right? It's masking the pain that you have. And to me,
agreed.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I think you would just want to.
But my analogy of the car, if my analogy of the car, if you knew, because you simplify the analogy a little bit. Yes, it's more complicated than just a car, but the analogy of a car, if you have an indicator light on the car, which option would you choose to take? What action would you choose to take if there's an indicator? There's a jet engine light on
my car right now, and my action that I choose to take is like, I don't see it.
See, that's one way, right?
Right.
And do you think that's gonna go away? Do
no,
you think
not.
The problem is gonna show up again?
It's only get worse. Like, I mean, I know it. Like, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go to the dealership because you know.
Like, the thing is, you think about, yes, this is a car, but you say, hey, Chris, you are the car now, and you can't fucking run no more if you don't fix that fucking light that's blinking in your forehead. Hey, you know, your ankle's gonna break, or your hip's gonna break, or whatever, or your heart's gonna stop because you can't run anymore. Because the thing is, I don't want to think about it anymore, because you're not the car. You don't care about the car as much as you do yourself.
Yep.
But even the analogy of the car is like, even if you say, well, I'm ignoring it, but I know that's not the right thing to do. Right? You knew it's not the right thing to do, even though you're ignoring it. I mean, but when something you really care about, hey, it's going to prevent you from playing tennis or making soap or making candles or whatever it is you love to do, right?
Yep.
The indicator can tell you, hey, this indicator potentially is going to stop you from playing tennis. What would you do to it? They say, hey, Chris,
Yeah.
you need to take this indicator to the doctor, and the indicator is gonna basically, give you some solutions so that you can continue to play tennis without worrying that one of these days it's gonna break unexpectedly.
Right. Well,
That you can't play tennis anymore. So that
I
perspective, like I say, back to what we're saying is perspective
right.
changes the paradigm.
It does. Yeah. No, I mean, it definitely does. I mean, I stopped around this time thinking about trying my best to think about 365, and I didn't bring it back into my brain until I got to like 360. Then I was like, oh my God, I'm almost there. Then you get that little extra energy boost. You're like, I'm almost there. I can do this. Like, I finally hear it. Like, it's like when you hit mile marker like 25 and you're like, oh fuck, there's only 1.2 miles left. I got this. Like, and then all of a sudden you're magically like sprinting out again, and you're like, where did that come from? Like, but like yeah, I think it's yeah, you're right. It's a perspective change. The truth of the matter is all I was doing is taking one more step, like one more step.
That's what I'm saying. For me, I don't feel any pressure. I didn't feel different the first day we started, and the second, and today we don't start. Because you keep telling me about 365. I keep ignoring and say, I don't fucking care for 365 or like 3,000 or 10,000. I don't care, right? And so the pressure, the artificial pressure never gets to me, because the thing is, when we say, hey, it's just another day, we're just gonna go get on Zoom and talk about shit about something, it's gonna be fun. To me, there's no pressure. I don't care if it's like 360, because it's not like I don't know. I know, but I don't pay attention, because you keep saying 365, and you can say, hey, we at a 100. Say, yay. I say, okay, it is a feat. We get 200. Cool. Yay, it's cool. But it doesn't get to me, because as far as I'm concerned, I want to do this until we decided, hey, there's no more. It's not fun anymore. But whether that 365, 400, 500, it doesn't matter. We don't. We just enjoy the journey, and that's why I'm able to spare my focus on whatever that is I want to receive from, which is the experience that I have with talking to you and learning from our discussion, versus saying, I have to do another one. So I'm not putting any extra energy to trying to strive for something outside of just being in the presence of,
you're not hurting.
You're living it. I'm not hurting at all.
Right. Yeah, you're feeling good. I mean, it feels good. If anything, it's energizing at the end of the day. I mean, I agree.
It is energizing.
Like if we, to be fair, if we tried to do like 5 episodes a day, we'd probably be like, God, okay, like I can't do anymore.
Yeah, it's like, probably too much. Yeah,
right. Probably two would be too much, honestly. Like, I mean,
it is too much, because the thing is, because a lot of time it takes time to marinate. Because when you and I talk about something on this Yomo, I mean, I keep thinking about it afterward. So because there's something we want to let it marinate, and especially when we're gonna go to sleep, and these things that we learn need to be kind of put in the right place in our brains when we go to sleep. So it's going to talk to defragment some of these things. And if you put too much, you probably can defragment or not. And so you're gonna have like orphan stuff in the morning, and continue to have this carryover and this trash in your brain, and become, your brain is littered with trash. There's no patterns to anything. And so next time you're talking about the turkey, or talking about the ultra marathoner, you can't connect anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. It needs time to marinate. No, it's dude, it's so funny you just said that. This is my final thought, because I gotta go to bed. But Luca has been watching. He's obsessed with Sesame Street right now, right? Like, I don't know why that is like his jam. Like, we don't really let him watch a lot of TV, but like when he does, he watches Sesame Street because he really likes it. And they do such the show. I've never really like watched Sesame Street since I was probably like a kid myself, so I haven't really like spent a lot of time watching it. But now, like, he wants to watch at least like 1 episode a day or something like that, whenever, like, anyway. So like now I'm watching Sesame Street all the time, and just absorbing it in general. And I shit you fucking not. So there's like they do this. I don't know if you have watched Sesame Street in a long time, but like they do the same things of each episodes over and over again. There's a number of the day. There's a letter of the day. There's the what if, how much, whatever, like song they do. Then there's Elmo's Imagination Room, and or Elmo's Imagined World, or whatever. And then and then the Cookie Monster cooking bus with the monster cooking. But anyway, they do basically the same show over and over and over again, just with different variations and stuff like that. Anyway, some of the songs they do, I'm going to bed every night, and no, I literally woke up in the fucking middle of the night going, "It's the letter of the day. It's the letter of the day. It's the letter of the day. It's the letter of the day. I'm not. This is not a joke. I was singing this in my fucking sleep. And to your point of like just they're so good. Like, I mean, I know that this is why he loves this fucking show because I'm singing it in my own fucking head. So can only imagine what he's doing. Like,
he's dreaming about it. He's dreaming about being inside of the Sesame Street dream world.
Right. And he's learning his ABCs and how to count to 15 at least at this point in time. He's only 2.5 years old, and he's like saying almost all of his ABCs, and he can count to 15, and I mean, we didn't teach him this stuff. He just learns it from Sesame Street, and it's pretty remarkable because I mean I know exactly what you're saying. He gets just enough. And it's like addicting. You're like, oh, good, but too much, and you're like, oh my god, like.
I mean, just the same thing. If you're talking about drinking water, I mean, if I hydrate water hose and give to you, how much water can you drink?
You could die. You could literally die from being overhydrated. I mean, like there's you could literally die.
I mean, your mouth can be closed because, like I said, and you go, and you get pushed back. I mean, you think about how much information you're getting at once. Oh, give me a glass. Okay, I'm good.
Give
me another glass. I'm good. Give me that glass. I'm good. But I turn on the fire hose. How much?
It's too much. Just too much. Yeah. All right. Let's. I think that's a good place to stop for the night. So, thanks for joining. And the question we can leave with you all is, how do you remind yourself to keep going when you're tired and hurting? My answer might be after this, like, don't keep going. So yeah, anyway, yeah.
Sounds good. We'll see you next year.
Awesome.
Next tomorrow.
Yeah.